we need to listen to this barrister's chilling digital ID warning. And yeah, it's that important. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. Now of course, before I jump into this, the usual disclaimers. Do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and I'm not inciting hatred to anyone or particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into it with this clip right here that is being shared on X at the moment. This one shared by Steve Miller saying, terrifying. Top barrister explains why you should be terrified about the government's plan to implement digital ID. A sinister government agenda could well be the motivation to implement digital ID. Sign the petition to stop it. And so, without further ado, let's listen to what this barrister says right now.
Right. Anybody who says you have nothing to hide, what's the problem, is a danger to every single one of their fellow citizens right now. Because quite obviously, this is a massive power grab by a state that is already quite sinister. You know, already we arrest ridiculous numbers of people over social media posts. Already a gentleman was arrested in the middle of the night over posting a meme. If you sit there and go, oh, this will be absolutely fine in a world like that, then I'm afraid your simple idiocy, your ostrich-like behavior and refusal to admit that we live in a sinister country already is a threat to the rest of us. To the rest of us who will wake up, you see that there is no argument for this. It's already you have to provide information in order to have a job. I got one recently and I had to go through a whole rigmarole with HMRC and I had to show my passport and all sorts of other controls. And we've had those for ages. Clearly, they're not working because these migrants are clearly working. And so they're already circumventing the system. They will circumvent this system. No, no, no. We have to admit that these are Fabian Marxists. They are open about it. They put it on a website. They want to slowly march us into a communist Marxist, what they see as a utopia, but the rest of us will see as a hellhole. And this is just a mechanism by which they will control us. Well, yet another one that they will abuse, as they abuse debanking already.
Well, don't mince your words, will you, Stephen? Look, but some people might say that actually, and as I said earlier, that actually simplifying the chain of communication, actually having a straight-in communication will potentially, you know, improve waiting lists of the NHS, will potentially mean there's less paperwork, will mean things can move more quickly, there's better access for information, and everybody's talking the same language. There's nothing like explaining one thing to one person, the same thing to the next person, and then the same thing to the next person in a chain of command that should be communicating with each other.
Now, before we get Stephen's response to that, just halfway through this clip, he's right. They're already, the illegal immigrants that are working here illegally on top of being here illegally, right? They're already circumventing the system to be able to work illegally here anyway. Adding in digital ID, what's going to happen? They're going to circumvent that as well. So the Labour dictatorship's rationale of, well, we need to bring digital ID in because it's going to stop the illegal immigrants illegally working here. Well, guess what, right? Firstly, BS, because that argument, as I've just mentioned, has been torn apart. But secondly, how about stopping the illegal immigrants even getting into the country illegally in the first place so they don't even have a chance to work here then illegally? Literally, their rationale to introduce digital IDs into this country is essentially them confirming that they failed in securing our borders. They failed in stopping these illegal immigrants breaking into our country. It's basically what they're saying with their own rationale of wanting to introduce digital ID in the first place. Now, let's get back to the remainder of this clip because, yeah, this barrister, it gets even more chilling with his warning.
There is no way that they will achieve that as the state. That won't even be their aim. These people just want to control your life. That's what they're doing. Look back. Look, I've lived through technology. So I'm from this generation that first got the internet. Everything has got worse. Everything requires more accounts, more passwords. Then you get demands for your fingerprints or your facial recognition ID. Everything has marched singularly in a line towards utter Marxist control of our day-to-day lives. There is absolutely no reason to not think that this will be exactly the same thing. And, Nana, because Trump is right, socialists and Marxists are both nasty and incompetent, the entire thing will be a car crash where hundreds of millions of pounds will be transferred, no doubt, to Labour-supporting companies, and the end product probably won't even work. We'll probably all sit here at a computer being told, oh, error, you haven't submitted the proper code. I mean, even Google can't get their ID system to work. I was fiddling around with it yesterday. They put a certain amount of money in my account. I told them and then they're like, oh, how much did we put in your account to prove that it's your account? Why I have to prove my account is beyond, I don't know why I have to prove that. But anyway, I have to. And I put in the amount that they put in, and then they went, no, it's not. I was like, right, computer says no. If even Google can't make systems that work, what hope does the British government have? We need to go back to being a trust-based society where we have honourable people who are treated as proper grown-up citizens in a proper valuable society, not meat units with identity cards.
Well,
yeah, I can't disagree with a single word that he said there. Can you? And this is the thing, ultimately, it's a BS excuse that they're saying because it's all about control. It's all about control of what we buy, what we consume, what we watch, where we go. Digital ID, right, on the face of it might look innocent enough to some people. But, oh my goodness, it is a slippery slope, right? A slippery slope all the way down to totalitarianism, which is essentially, as far as I'm concerned, what the Labour dictatorship want at this point. They want full totalitarian control over every single one of us. They're literally arresting us for hurty words on the internet. What? We're going to just be like, yeah, we'll give you more control. We love digital ID idea. Yeah, let's go for that. Not a freaking chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. We have enough IDs that we can use to be able to access the things that we need to access in this country. Oh, and by the way, when the barrister turned round and said that, yeah, this whole system will probably be sent to a Labour kind of company to develop, well, if you noticed my video that I released last week, I actually did a little bit of a deep dive into the company that allegedly the Labour dictatorship want to bring in to develop and release the UK digital IDs. And guess what? That company is linked to none other than Tony freaking Blair. Yeah. A villain from the past is coming back to haunt us even now. So, for all those that are turning round and saying, oh, digital ID will be fine, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Well, I got a question for you. Let's put it this way. Listening to this clip right here, why do you think a barrister of all people, right, is turning around and saying digital ID is wrong? He's not talking out of his backside here. What he's saying is completely true. It is the reality of the situation and the future reality of the situation if we allow digital IDs to infect our country. You want to see the future of digital IDs? Just have a quick gander at what's going on in China right now with their social system scoring. Because I tell you something, What's going on in China right now? Guaranteed it's two-tier Keir's freaking wet dream. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, and unfortunately with the state of the UK at the moment, there's going to be more, make sure you subscribe to join our Alternerd tribe here at Political Nerds. If you're watching on X, make sure you're following me at Steph Alternerd. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. What did you think to this barrister's chilling digital ID warning? Let me know in the comments down below. And whilst you're at it, apparently it's a new feature. You can now hype the hell out of videos. So why not hype the hell out of this video whilst you're at it? Thank you so much for tuning into this. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.